Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the LEGO CPA for episode, I think we're calling this episode 9 of the CPA-fol podcast. And this is a very new place for the CPA-fol podcast. Usually, we're hanging out, chilling in my basement with all my LEGO sets behind me. However, this time is a little different, a lot different, let's be honest. As you can see, I am currently at BRICKWORLD Grand Rapids, and honestly, the stream right now could be absolute garbage. I have no idea. I've got my whole setup here that I brought with me. I've got the webcam, 2 mics that I have 1 mic here. I've got a roaming mic. So this stream could go absolutely anywhere and everywhere. It could be 15 minutes. It could be 30 minutes. This thing could be like 3 hours if we really wanted it to. So we'll see where it takes us. I'm currently in the Western Michigan LEGO user group area, WM Lug. They've been kind enough to let me use this space as I currently don't have a space of my own to utilize. So I am very glad to be able to use this space. I am at, actually, you probably can see it a little bit behind me. I've got my little monitor down here below. We're at Caleb from FIREBIRD Bricks. We're at his station here with his clone base. I will definitely be having an interview with him later to go into further detail about his set, about his mock, about his amazing clone build. And so I am very much looking forward to hearing about that. I'm sure you all have seen his video, so it's not going to be anything crazy new. But it's always fun for me to interview people. I think that's the main reason that I really enjoy doing this, is to learn more about other people. Because there's so many great people in this community. As I've been in this community simply since May, not very long at all. Some of you have been in there since 21, 22, and years prior than that. So regardless, we've got some people in chat. Richie from Our Toy Roll, thank you for stopping by, saying, rumor has it, a special guest from Polynesia. I don't think that will be happening. Just a random guess. But he says a special guest from Polynesia is currently flying in on his private jet. As enjoyable as that would be, as much as I would love to interview the Polynesian LEGO CPA, I don't think that will be happening this BRICKWORLD. But not to keep you on too much of a hook, but join us at BRICKWORLD Chicago 2024, and I can almost but guarantee that the Polynesian LEGO CPA will be outing himself at that convention, and we'll get an interview with him. Don't you worry about it. We'll get some great stuff going on. Also, if you people in the chat, please let me know if the audio is great. I did a little bit of sound testing before. Please let me know if the connection is bad. If it gets too bad, maybe we can turn it into an audio-only podcast, as I'll hopefully being able to cycle some people through, and we'll see where we can go with it. Behind me, like I mentioned, we've got FIREBIRD Bricks. I talked to Wolf of Bricks. He's actually out at the front gate kind of directing people in. So hopefully we can get Wolf of Bricks in here. I gave him a heads up that the stream was still happening, so I'm hoping that he can make it. We've got a couple other collaborators and people on Instagram, like SWFANROOM is there as well. Who else is here? Like I said, we've got WM Lug in the house. I think they are the only LEGO user group that is currently here. But as I'm looking around, there are a handful of TikTokers here. I know TikToker/Instagram individuals. Cool Guy Dom is here. Anyone else? I'm not entirely sure who else is here. Let's see. We have another message in the chat. Moments of the Magic, thank you so much for joining in the chat. Hey, howdy, hey. I'm just making sure I'm saying live. I could be talking to absolutely no one right now, and I would have no idea. So I'm just double-checking that I am, in fact, live. And I think we're live. If you're new to the stream here, please go ahead and like the stream. You guys know the drill. Like the stream. Please subscribe. If you have been to BRICKWORLD yourself, and this is actually the first Grand Rapids BRICKWORLD event we've ever seen, which is certainly wonderful. And thank you, Moments. I am, in fact, alive. That is definitely good to know. I kid you not. The internet here is surprisingly better than I thought. It is much surprisingly better than I thought. I wasn't expecting it to be this good. But, like I said, anything could happen. And, maybe Unfortunately, I am tethered to this spot here with the webcam going directly into the computer. I am streaming from a webcam to my laptop, so I can't roam too much. I can do some 360 views on the camera. So, you know, we're all going to be living vicariously through me for this BRICKWORLD Grand Rapids. And as I said, something that I actually didn't 100% know myself is that this is the first BRICKWORLD Grand Rapids show to date. And I hope you can get a good idea or a good sense of the number of people that are here with us today. We had the VIP day was on Thursday, which I was here for that yesterday. I didn't really film any content or do too much, but it was just nice to kind of low-key meet people, connect with people who I had talked online since BRICKWORLD Chicago. And then, unfortunately, I will be honest and say, since it already happened, the World of Lights event, unfortunately, wasn't that great. They were limited. BRICKWORLD themselves were limited to what they could do. So what they did was they took the windows and put them down, the shades over the windows, put them down, and then dimmed the lights. Unfortunately, the lights couldn't be turned all the way off. I imagine for safety reasons, it would be a bit of a hazard. So they were kind of dimmed, and your eyes pretty much got used to the light, but it was not as spectacular. And, of course, I didn't see BRICKWORLD Chicago World of Lights in person, very unfortunately, but it was not as spectacular as the pictures I had seen. Thank you, Moments, for the kind words. I do not have my own booth, unfortunately. Maybe at BRICKWORLD Chicago, if I can get this channel really to blow up, you know, maybe we'll get some, maybe I'll get a booth in Chicago. I'll sign some autographs. I still have to actually figure out what my autograph would actually be, because I really don't know what it would even be. So I would certainly have to figure out what it would be. But if there's anyone else in the chat, please let me know what your thoughts are on BRICKWORLD Grand Rapids. Was it a show you considered going to? Or was it kind of a show you thought, I mean, regardless, there are some repeat builds from Chicago, is what you would expect. I don't think that really would surprise anyone. But there are some new stuff, especially part of the reason I'm here in this booth is because this is the first time any of us can see the FIREBIRD Bricks Clone Army base in person. So that is wonderful, certainly wonderful to see. Let's see, some of my favorite builds I actually do see over in the WM Lug booth, which is this entire stretch of tables here. That I'm looking down. We've got the Liber Crawler, which is kind of amazing to see in person. I haven't seen that one in person just yet, but so it is wonderful to see that. And then, of course, we've got the vendors lining the wall. We have the Star Wars areas. We've got some, I'm looking at an adventure builder right now. We have a bunch of mosaics over in the corner, as we usually do. And, of course, we have the train area over to my left. And that the train area actually stretches this whole expanse down here, which is wonderful to see. Hello, Joey. Thank you for joining the chat. Much appreciated. As usual, if you're new to the stream here, please drop a like. Please subscribe if you're new here. Trying to just get people to get a real sense of Grand Rapids BRICKWORLD event, as this is the first ever BRICKWORLD in Grand Rapids. And I think based on the turnout today, I would certainly expect to have another one next year, because while it hasn't been as crazy as Chicago, and honestly, I should stop. I'm not comparing it to Chicago by any means, but there has been a steady flow of people running through or walking through the set. And honestly, it has yet to die down. Since the doors opened at 10 a.m. today, it has not died down whatsoever. So honestly, we've been sort of guessing, estimating on when it's going to die down. I would expect it, or some of us would expect it to die down around 4 p.m. I would say that'd be reasonable. We're currently pushing 3 p.m. So I would say by 4, maybe 5, it's going to start dying down. But I'm really interested to see how the turnout is going to continue to be. Unfortunately, I will not be here tomorrow on Sunday, so I will not be able to see that firsthand, but I will certainly be keeping tabs with people to really figure out what's the turnout for Saturday or Sunday. Saturday has been fantastic. And Mr. Never Tomorrow, thank you for stopping in the chat saying, dude, you're making it big time. It is fun it honestly is really fun to cover shows like this. I'm still trying to find my niche, honestly, as a Lego YouTuber. But I don't know. I just really get enjoyment out of doing this kind of like newscaster style of video and live stream, interviewing people, really kind of figuring out this method or what I really want to focus on. So thank you for those kind words in the chat. Like always, I mean, we got 7 people in the chat. That's pretty strong for a normal CPA-fol podcast. But please drop a like. Want to get those likes up, unless you all have already liked. Maybe the internet's just a little slacking. But thank you for the kind words, Mr. Never Tomorrow. Wish you the best. Almost always. Well, that's a little harsh. I would hope you would wish me the best as always, which maybe that's what you meant to say. Thank you so much for stopping by. So as we figure out kind of what segments we're really going to get to on this episode, like I said, this stream could go 30 minutes. It could go, we're pushing 17 minutes or so. We could go 30 minutes. We could go an hour. I really don't know. I'm just going to kind of play it by ear. So I hope you all are up for the challenge as always. Thank you so much, everyone, for stopping by. Like I said, we do have some guests that are going to be coming through. Like I said, Wolf of Bricks, I hope he stops by. SW Star Wars Fan Rooms, who I just met, and I think he's part of Empire Lug. He was at BRICKWORLD Chicago. Hopefully we'll get him in here. And honestly, I think some fan interactions would be pretty cool. We'll see if any fans are up for the challenge. Also, something that I haven't publicized just yet, but I do have 2 Lego Batman poly bags that I will be considering giving away. I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to go about doing that. Maybe if someone in the chat has some ideas about how I should do a giveaway, maybe could do a little bit of a trivia. I think that would be fun. But regardless, I've got some tricks up my sleeve. I certainly have some tricks up my sleeve. So we'll see how the stream goes. And, worst case, we'll get some great ambiance of Grand Rapids. Might take some breaks here and there as my throat starts to get a little dry. But we'll continue to work through. And we'll see what happens as I work through some technical difficulties. And we're back. How great is that? That's pretty much how today is going to go. And you know what? I'm fine with that. It's all about the experience here, and we're experiencing, let me tell you that. So as that kind of wraps up the intro with the purpose of the show and what the goal is, just to kind of give you a taste of BRICKWORLD Grand Rapids, we'll start to ease into some interviews, some first interactions. We might get some, like I said, some fan interactions, and yeah. So stick around. There might be some intermissions, we'll call them, some dead spaces. Don't be too concerned about that. I'm not going anywhere, but the connection certainly is going somewhere as I see a giant red bar across my OBS screen, which is not ideal. But I believe regardless of video, you all should be able to hear me, so please let me know if you can hear me. Mr. Never Tomorrow says, well, if you're mean, which I don't see you doing, then I will not be happy with you. That is 100% fair. I totally understand your sentiments there. But yeah, I like what you're doing. I like how you do it. You're a great advocate for Lego and AFOL. I greatly appreciate those kind words. That means a lot to me. Thank you so much for those kind words. If you can still hear me, I genuinely hope you can still hear me. Cool. Man, this is going to be a complete journey. I'm literally staring at a red bar right now on my OBS. I really hope it turns around. But hey, that's what this is about. So yeah, trivia. We might do some trivia. Unfortunately, I'm going to limit the trivia to the people who are here so I can just hand them the Batman poly bag. We'll see. We'll see how it goes, though. And we're back to a green bar. Awesome. So you should be able to see me now. You should be able to. That being said, audio is good. Yes, Derek, thank you so much for that update. Really, like I said, all in all, I'm going to be focusing Worst case on audio, we'll try to keep the video up and going strong. No promises because, you know, convention Wi-Fi is never the greatest thing in the world, but hey, that's how it be sometimes. So let me give me a second, and I will figure out who we're gonna pull up on the stream next, and we'll figure some stuff out. I can move this up here. I can, yeah. So that'll be so if you want to come over right now, just, you know, talk about, we can just basically like we're talking, just keep it rated G. Alrighty, I think we're going to be back from our little intermission. You may have been able to hear me in the background. So who we've got? Oh, are you guys? Can you guys see the display? Let me show the display a little bit. So this is FIREBIRD Bricks clone base. As you can see, it's a beautiful base, very expansive, and the video will do it much more justice. So don't you worry about a thing. So right now, who we have coming on the show? Star Wars fan rooms. Let me go up a little bit.
All right. Hello, everybody.
Yeah, let's get a little more centered. There we go. So you were at BRICKWORLD Chicago,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And which lug are you? You're from a lug?
Yeah. Hello, everybody. I'm part of Empire Lug, and we display mostly Star Wars. We're pretty big at BRICKWORLD Virginia and BRICKWORLD Chicago.
Awesome. And we all actually boarded up at Caleb at FIREBIRD Bricks' house, which was awesome. We were probably up late last night, probably later than we should have been.
Yeah. No,
but it was a good time.
Great time.
Yeah. So we were watching your video on your 5-foot tower.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Which was from Star Wars Rebels.
Yes. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that.
For those who don't know, I built a Imperial comms tower from Rebels. It's the one you see Ezra live in. It's also later one that the crew blow up. And I built it as a sort of experiment to bring it to a convention to see how do things transport. So it's sectioned off, and I made it as transportable as possible, just to see how that experience went, because it's something I needed to get good at.
Put the mic a little closer.
Okay, I'll put it closer. There we go. Anyway, I needed to practice to get good so I can, in the future, bring more stuff at a larger scale. I have a deep dive on my YouTube channel. It's also on my Instagram, so feel free to check it out there for more details.
And that's Star Wars fan rooms, correct?
Yeah.
SW fan rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Room single.
Room.
Yeah.
SW fan room.
That's okay. You'll figure it out.
So, how long have you been building mock? Because me as someone who's not creative whatsoever, I'd never see myself in a million years being able to put something like this together. So how long have you been building mock, and like kind of what inspired you to start? So if you want to go into that a little bit.
I started Duplo when I was around 4 years old, so it's always kind of been a part of my life. I've really been on and off for like most of my teenage years. But as I got older, I started to get back into it, and it was really people like Chris Productions making clone bases, David Hall to an extent as well, that got me back into the love of Star Wars. And then around 2018 is when I fully started up building mocks again, and I think I haven't stopped since then. So it's just been a natural progression. I think the biggest thing for me has been my love of the Clone Wars and how that's grown over time with nostalgia. And Season 7 coming out, and the new content as well. It's all kind of led to a bigger love of Star Wars and Lego, and it's kind of almost interchangeable. I can't really put a finger on which one I love more, but it's just they go hand in hand perfectly. And that's kind of led me to continue to grow in the space and get in the lugs, meet friends I would have never expected to meet, So it's been great, as I completely didn't expect this, making small, crappy mocks back in the day in my room, to now even displaying at crazy conventions like BRICKWORLD Chicago in front of 10,000 people and being part of one of the bigger lugs in the U.S. It's been absolutely amazing.
Speaking of lugs, being someone who's not been involved in the community for that long,
Right.
so maybe someone out there, they're a budding creationist with creating these various sets.
Right.
How do they get involved in a lug? Because that's actually something that I genuinely have no idea how to get involved.
There's a couple tiers of lugs. I feel like you can enter a local lug. So if you live in, let's example, Seattle, there's local lugs in Seattle, and it's not, the entry level is not very high. It's just show up, have a good time.
Be involved, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Get involved in the community, and they'll be at local convention centers. Like here at BRICKWORLD Grand Rapids, there's M-Lug, Michigan
WM Lug.
WM Lug.
Western
That's a
Michigan.
Michigan-based lug, and pretty much they say to get in, you just need to apply come to a couple meetings, couple events every year, and so that there's the low entry there. But there's also some like higher skill, almost more builder-focused lugs, which in that case you would have to like apply. And most of those you can actually find on Instagram. So just kind of like Empire Lugs on Instagram, Rebel Lug, Bubble Lug, 501st Lug, stuff like that you'll find on Instagram. They usually have Discords and a way to apply via there. And there's like a level between lugs. Some lugs kind of do it for fun, and then others are officially recognized in the Ambassador Network space. And those are the lugs you'll usually see that are a bit bigger, and those will actually have lug bulk, which is a good tool to get started as a mock builder.
So with how you started, you said you started really in 2018 to today.
Right.
Like what kind of progression? I know we talked a little bit about like your early mock builds versus how you attack them now. How has that really progressed over the past 5 years?
First, when I was younger back in 2018, I started purely by just piecing things together, no iteration whatsoever. If it worked, it worked. If it looked good, it looked good. And I feel like my vision of what looks good has completely changed as the standard of my building has evolved. One thing that really improved me over time is consistency, often working on it, but it's crucial to get feedback. So this is one of the places where I got involved with Empire Lug, was not to join the lug originally, but to join the Discord for feedback. And I would ask people for feedback, and they would give it to me, and that's really been how I've grown. And now I'm almost at the point where I still like feedback, and I'll accept it, but it's to the point where I'm my toughest critic. So I'll give myself feedback, and that's how I've evolved to grow. And it's also just looking at inspiration. If you see someone building something, don't be scared to take inspiration from it. Like, there's no such thing as copying here. Like, unless you're directly copying what they're building, it's fine to say, oh, wow, this person really made a nice base of the tower. That's how I'm going to start it. Well, that's
awesome.
That's how you grow.
Yeah, I mean, everyone in the community is so nice and so, like, we all love talking about Lego, so why, of course, we love talking about our own builds and progresses and just how you got from point A to B. And that's probably the main thing that I found is how open and welcoming everyone in the community is. Like, if you're here to be kind, be nice to each other, to learn something, which is very important, as I'm learning that, to learn something and then just, have great interactions. Like, it's open to anyone and everyone. That is, like, that's all you need to do. And, we're all capable of that, which is awesome. So then BRICKWORLD Chicago was in June.
I think so.
We're about 3-4 months later, if I'm mathing correctly. So how have you been feeling about this Grand Rapids BRICKWORLD show? We'll compare it, but also, it's not completely fair to compare, but still.
So I live in Boulder, Colorado. So Caleb has become one of my very good friends. So he invited me out to this small convention. It's a first year event here at BRICKWORLD Grand Rapids, if I'm not mistaken. So I was optimistic, but of course, attending BRICKWORLD Chicago, it's a crazy big event center, 10,000 people. I really expected this to be a smaller, lighthearted place. And when I first walked in on Thursday evening, while everybody was setting up, I was like, wow, this is really small. There's not a lot of mocks here. Not quite what I'm used to, but that's not. That's okay. I came here to meet friends. And as the week has progressed, it has really taken place here, and it's really gained some life. We have all been thoroughly surprised by the attendance here. I feel like this morning around 8 to 11, it was kind of flowing in, but I feel like later in the afternoon after lunch, there's so many families out here. and
Here.
it's really become.
Keep talking,
a
and
good
I'll spin the camera around. We'll give everyone a little
All right,
360.
I guess we're going to give you guys a panoramic view here to see. It's pretty busy. As you'll notice as we start panning around, a lot of these groups are mostly parents and children, so that's good to see a lot of younger children get involved as well. I've been talking to some of the locals, and they've been mentioning that there's also a art festival here in downtown Grand Rapids, and I assume that there's a lot of people that are popping in after they go to these art conventions as well. So, I mean, it's been more than expected. Usually Saturday is the more busier day out of the two, but it's really hasn't dropped much steam at all. Like, we figured it would drop off in the next couple hours, but it is really still holding strong. People are still flowing in. If I'm not mistaken, there's still a line at the front there. So it's doing very well. And I think the way it's run, they have room to improve small things, but it's definitely a venue they can grow out. If there's a back wall over there, and they can actually open that up to get a couple more conference centers. So this could be a convention that's here to stay.
I think so. It's been like you said, it's been doing great. Not this huge mass crowd, but a steady stream, and like hopefully you were able to clearly see on the 360 pan. Like, there's people at every table. There's people in the activity centers. There's people. Man, actually, I'm kind of surprised how crowded the vendor booths are.
Yeah,
those vendor booths are very busy. Of course, here at Caleb's Firebird Bricks booth, you know, he's had a steady stream of people coming through and kids, and it's been pretty awesome just to see all the interaction and such.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, it's absolutely been a great time.
Yeah.
I don't know where he is, actually.
Oh, he's right over there. Yeah, Caleb
Oh,
is being a busy bee. He's out here getting everybody's attention. Everybody's looking to come talk to him, so that's been great.
Because, I mean, objectively, he might have the best new mock. Because obviously a lot of these cities are very impressive, but you know, we've seen them before. They're really impressive, but
and it's a lot of people here that some people will bring something new every year, and some other people will make upgrades to a project over time. There's been a couple mocks here that I've seen before, but they've changed some small things, tweaked some small things. But if they were giving out awards, that is one thing they're not doing here at Grand Rapids that maybe BRICKWORLD Chicago does do, is give out awards. Usually they give out awards per categories, so they just find like best Star Wars mocks, and they'll nominate 5 or 6 people, and then they'll decide from there. So I think that's one thing that they can improve and do in the future, is recognize some of the people here who have brought some excellent projects, because some of the other larger conventions do that. So I think it's something that should be implemented in the future.
Absolutely. And we do have a couple messages in the chat.
Oh, here we go.
Mr. Never Tomorrow, couple thoughts. Excuse me. He says, I'm with you. I think talking about you, very creative in woodworking, but to me, Lego is just therapeutic. Follow someone else's instructions to make something cool, but not building. Oh, he was talking about me.
Oh, there we go.
Yes, I'm with you, Mr. Never Tomorrow. But he also says, very excited about seeing someone else's ideas. It resonates with me on my work in a different way. Probably talking about his woodworking, which is really cool. He also has a question for you.
Oh, here we go.
Just curious, what were your biggest challenges transporting the tower, being 5 foot tall?
Yeah, so as I said, it's sectioned down, but I had to fly. And if air traffic can be kind of bad with packages, you see those videos of them chucking suitcases. I was like, I do not want to be that person on World Star that's fighting over my suitcase. My biggest tip would be on the base plates. Those were the big thing I was concerned about, because those can snap and break off. So I cut down some cardboard to fit the gray base plates, put it underneath, and then just absolutely wrap everything in saran wrap. So I had my suitcase layered with bubble wrap, then the base plates, double, triple, quadruple saran wrap until you couldn't even see the Lego anymore. And then the tower actually sectioned off into 3 sections. So I just snapped those apart. Then I saran wrapped those, put those in bubble wrap. So my entire suitcase was pretty much 20% Lego, 75%, packing supplies.
Hey, and it looks like it worked out for you?
Yeah, it did work. So surprisingly, I was able to get it up very quickly when I started. Not too much broke, so that was great. Really filled with that experience. and I'm dreading my future projects and bringing those to Virginia. I'll be there next year, bringing quite a big project with Empire Lug, but more details will come out of that as it grows. But I'm concerned about that because that's a whole different level, and we'll see exactly how I manage to do that.
Is it going to be not? And don't want to give too many details, but is it going to be tall and wide, or just very massive?
It'll unfortunately be a bit of both.
Oh no.
The nice thing about gray base plates is you can stack them, but as we're doing gradual terrain increases, the height of the base plates increases. So holding out hope that I'm able to figure out a good way to pack that. It should. Hopefully, by experience, some of these over 2 conventions should come into play.
Absolutely.
Worst case scenario, I arrive usually on Wednesday afternoon. So you have Thursday, Friday, and even a Saturday morning to build. Or if you're some of my friends like Russell, then you actually build all night. So, but I need my sleep. So I'm more practical.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's like, I mean, you're spending all this time doing other stuff and not. You don't want to be building. You want to be spending time socializing and talking with friends, meeting new people, and all that stuff.
It has started to fill up over here at our booth.
I know.
Here.
It's
there's almost a live audience at this point. I'm starting to get starstruck.
They saw the camera and they're like,
people off camera.
Oh,
there's like 40 people over here, dude.
Oh, wow.
Behind me it's looking a bit empty, but I promise you, over John's right shoulder.
This is exciting.
This
is exciting.
It's like a live audience here.
There's more, for once, there's more people in person than there are online.
Yes.
Because usually it's just me and my Legos. So,
a live show here. Live viewing.
It's a shame they don't know the link. I mean, I have a little QR code here.
Maybe you could sound it out for them. That might help. You can start putting it on.
I need a giant sign, just like CPA.
Can we get a projector on that? There's a big blank wall up there. Can we put it up there?
One of those walls.
Yeah,
no, that'd be
that's
funny.
what we need to do. That's hilarious.
No, it's
that
exciting.
All of a sudden made me nervous. I lost my train of thought completely. Any more questions in the chat?
Yeah, moments of the magic. Because I don't know if I didn't tell you. Let's see if I still have them here.
Yeah, you have like a mic cover as well for those people looking. This is a pretty impressive setup. I was surprised. He's got his laptop over here. Of course, he's got the camera. We're looking at you guys, and there's a tripod. It's quite the process here.
I brought 2 poly bags.
There you
Batman poly bags, thinking maybe at some point we'll do some trivia.
Oh, here we
and
go.
some giveaways.
Oh, here we go.
I haven't even thought of any questions I could ask. So maybe if someone in the chat has some really difficult, I could probably do something like, when was Lego founded? Oh, that could be a nice
I'm
little.
not even sure. What is it, 1923? Is that it?
I thought it was in the 50s.
Oh.
Like 53 or something?
I don't know. That's for the chat to find. You guys got your computers at home. Put it in the chat if you know.
So,
we're both unsure. We'll figure it out very soon how horribly wrong we are.
Yeah. Moments of the Magic says, I've gone all out with these Lego Batman. I've spared no expense. And, hey, in however many years.
Yeah, as a Jurassic Park would say, we have spared no expense.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, no, it's certainly exciting. And looks like Caleb's still talking to other people. We've got.
We got to get him over here. Reel him in. That's hilarious.
Yeah, no, it's just exciting. So, with you said your mock is going to be at Brick Fair, Virginia.
Yes. Yeah.
Is that after BRICKWORLD Chicago?
Yes. I'm not sure of the dates at this moment, but usually it's BRICKWORLD Chicago and then Brick Fair, Virginia towards the end of this summer. Yeah. We just chose to display it there because that's we're switching it up from a couple of years ago when we displayed our big train layout at Chicago in 2022 or 2023, one of the two. So we're just kind of switching up because there's 2 big conventions we attend, so we're just switching it up over time.
Okay.
Kind of going back and forth.
Well, you'll still be at BRICKWORLD Chicago, of course.
I'll be at both.
And I imagine a lot of your Lego user group is going to be at both.
Yeah. Empire Lug usually has around 30 to 40 people at each of those big conventions. We have a big banner hanging usually, so you should be able to find us.
Oh, yeah.
We definitely represent Star Wars very heavily, but we occasionally have some collabs that aren't Star Wars. Like, for example, last BRICKWORLD, some kid is absolutely crying. I'm sure he's seen the vendor prices. I guess that's what he's seen.
Oh, my goodness. Those made me cry as well.
Yeah, for the people who aren't here to see it, the vendor markups are absolutely comedic.
1932.
Hey, there we go.
That's when Lego was started.
Hey, so I was close. I think I was spot on.
You were closer than I was. You said 20s.
1923.
Yeah.
1923.
I said 53, so I was 20 years off. You were 10 years.
I remember at BRICKWORLD Chicago, somebody had like a wooden mallard that was made by Lego. and it was like one of their first toys. So like before
Wow.
they started
Oh,
making
wow.
bricks, I guess they started with wood toys.
Yes,
So
they
had
did.
like,
Actually,
they
yeah,
had like a
no, I do
mallard,
remember that.
They
Yeah.
had like a kite and stuff. I was surprised. It was pretty impressive.
So Moments of the Magic says, will you keep the mock after this year's show or shows, or you break it down and redo it?
Usually my mocks have a complete life cycle of like 4 days.
Oh, wow.
Unless they're at the conventions, they usually get parted out very quickly. It's mostly due to the financial costs of some of these parts in there. I just need to be able to move on. If I'm at home just taking a picture for Instagram or YouTube, I'll complete it. Next day I'll take a picture of it, and that day I'll post it and I'll start taking it apart. So the life cycle, they don't last very long. Convention displays like the one coming up will probably be around a bit longer just because I'll finish it and I'll have to wait for the convention, and maybe I'll need to keep it alive after the convention, so I just need some pictures for it. So there's definitely a process to it. Convention builds usually stay around a bit longer just because you need to unpack it, sort it, make sure all the content actually worked out for it before you take it apart and you're like, oh, shoot, I don't have the pictures, Yeah.
Yeah, and that kind of, as a Lego retail purchaser, not necessarily a mock builder, that kind of kills me on the inside, because when I build something, it's like, all right, I know it's going to be there. I know I'm gonna look at it, and it's going to be there forever. But as a mock builder, you kind of already know from the start. Yeah, I'm literally doing this for the experience, for the designing exercise.
Yeah.
And that's just, it's kind of what you know going into it.
It's definitely a part of it. Of course, there is like sets and mocks. Sometimes I'm really proud of a project. I'll keep a little chunk as a souvenir. Like if I do some sort of building and it's got a nice statue, I'll keep the statue.
Awesome.
Or like, for like Caleb's Christosis mock, he gave me one of the like street squares. So I have that in my room. So there's like little memorabilia like that I'll keep for some of the really projects I'm really proud of. But mostly 99% of them absolutely get sorted within the first 2 days and then move on. It's the cycle of life, I guess, for my mocks.
Yeah, I mean, because we were talking about Lego prices, and you do have the ability through the lug to get better pricing.
Yeah.
But still, it's still money.
Yeah.
Money out there that it takes to build these things.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people assume that a lot of mock builders keep their mocks up year round, and I guess there is people who do that, because at BRICKWORLD, clearly here at Grand Rapids, there's mocks I've seen before. So people definitely keep some of them intact.
Yep.
But personally, that's not something I do. Yeah.
Do you remember the mock at BRICKWORLD Chicago that was the it wasn't Nova Scotia. The Nova Scotia.
Oh, like
the
that
whole
big micro-scale city?
Yep.
Yeah, that was incredible.
So yeah, speaking of mocks that won't be broken down, that one will actually be I don't know if you talk. I was able to interview them, and they're taking that to the actual city.
Yeah, I heard.
And it's going to be displayed there, I believe, indefinitely, which is pretty cool.
That is something. That's something when it does pay to have a mock stay up forever.
Exactly.
But I feel like going into that project, they knew what they were setting out to do, and it was like something like that. For those who don't know, they had like a 5 foot by 5 foot table, and it was probably like 40 base plates just covered in microscale city. So that's a crowning achievement. That's probably something, a once in a lifetime experience, and to have that be actually displayed in the actual fort they built. That's incredible.
And I was most fortunate enough to kind of, I think I was already recording just a walk around of the convention, and
oh my goodness.
I don't know if anyone on
I think we had a
the stream
roller
heard
coaster
that.
accident. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Hopefully they get that sorted
me and
out.
John almost jumped down to take cover. We were prepping for the worst. They had a massive bang.
Hopefully
I think somebody dropped something.
We've got live coverage of the roller coaster accident happening on aisle 3.
Yeah. I'm not sure what happened.
No one's freaking out, so I feel like
we're freaking out. No.
wasn't too bad, but I do not know.
It sounded like a box. There was no Lego bricks being broken.
It's not like we heard ting, 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 ting of a bunch of Lego bricks crashing down.
Absolutely.
But, yeah, it was cool. Where was I going? To interview him.
Right.
The main builder. I forget his name. It was like Louis something.
I didn't have a chance to meet him.
But yeah, so I was already recording. I was kind of like, hey, are you the head guy? Can I interview you about this?
It's 2 of them, right? I think it's 2 guys.
There
or is it a whole group of things?
It was 2 guys that were kind of the head.
Oh.
Maybe it was like Jean they were French Canadian, so it was like Jean something. If you go on my channel, you can very easily find the video. Yeah. But it was 2 brothers and then maybe like 4 to 6 other builders that helped him out.
Okay, so that's a good group of guys.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know how long it took them.
Right.
But I think it was crazy to me that like them bringing these builds to BRICKWORLD Chicago is like the premier.
Yeah.
Like this is where you bring the best of the best to show.
It is really the mecca of Lego conventions. As much as Brick Fair Virginia is up there in scale, nothing beats Brick Fair Chicago. It is star-studded. It is crazy. It is hyper. All the mocks are incredible. Everybody's staying up at the hotel until 4, 5, 6. Some people even 9 a.m. You know, it's truly a party. And it's one I would highly recommend you consider going to, because if you're able to make that trip out there, you won't regret it. It's absolutely amazing.
100%. You do have another question.
Oh, here we go.
From Mr. Never Tomorrow. What prompted you to build something so big for travel, knowing such a challenge awaited?
Yeah, well, I'm sure if you heard my next project, you'd be absolutely falling off your couch.
I want to grab my water.
I'll take center stage. Oh, no, center stage here. Oh, my goodness. Anyway, the reason I wanted it to be big is because I wanted to have the tallest singular project at BRICKWORLD, just as an added challenge. Because the tower honestly wasn't up to my normal standards, and that's something that can be an issue in the mock building space, is just continually improving. And this is kind of taking a step back from that narrative for me. But I just wanted it to be physically imposing. When you saw it, you said, wow, yeah, that makes sense. It would actually be that tall. Because in the show, it's thousands of feet tall. It's an absolutely amazingly tall tower. So I was like, let me do my best to get as close as possible. And admittedly, it did get out of hand pretty quickly. But the goal was always to make something very large. I wanted to reflect as closely as possible to the reference material. And I think I was up there at BRICKWORLD. At BRICKWORLD Chicago, there was a bit of struggle because there was that new Hashima collab. I believe that's them. Did you see that? It was like the crazy techno city.
Yep.
That's one of the most amazing collabs I've ever seen. I think that's like 70 people in it of itself.
Yep.
But they were like 9 feet tall. It was absolutely impeccable.
I think it was 12 and a half or something.
Yeah. No, they had people on ladders 24 hours a day getting up there, making sure it was in order. So besides those guys, I was pretty high up there on the skyline. So I was pretty happy with that. Of course, I didn't go all the way to Brick Fair. So I was actually able to maybe edge out a couple people there. So that was the added bonus of making it that tall for sure.
Awesome. Another question.
Oh, here we go.
So many questions. Obviously, with the mock building, that opens a whole new
I know, right?
area of questioning. But Moments of the Magic says, what is one of your favorite techniques to use in your mocks?
Oh, well, there are so many good ones. And I feel like as the space evolves, more techniques come into light. I feel like a couple of years ago, nobody was talking about using panels for anything. And I feel like since Rich Boy J has made his Camino, all of a sudden panels have become such a vital part of every mock builder's collection, because it's just such a useful part. You can overlap it. There's not too much offset. But I think my favorite technique, honestly, is just using the cheese slopes, the 1x1 cheese slopes, and then putting them in a 1x1 stud hole. And you can get like a half line. So if you want to make like a circle, you can potentially do that. Use it if you're playing around with it enough. You can make like really cool transitions, because you're essentially cutting a block into a square. But then you could do like a tan one and a dark tan one. And you could do that like around a patch of dirt. So it's not just normal transitions. It'll actually have a bit of rounded effect to it. So I think that's my favorite. And it's actually very simple. So long you're building studs up, so just have the base plate down and you're building upwards, you can do it. When you have it snot, that's where you get Lego math, and that's honestly when I'd advise you to probably consider a new technique at that point. But there's some ways to do it if you're creative. Brackets will help you offset that. Headlight bricks, maybe even panels if your gap is big enough. So those are some techniques I really enjoy.
And that's the amazing thing of all the different techniques that are available, and I'm sure techniques you've learned along the way and in your lug.
Yeah.
And stuff that I literally would never think about from a brick perspective and I guess a geometric anatomical layout, like figuring out, all right, we've got this, you want to make this, or go from this area to this area with a transition, like you said, and just all the different ways you can do that. But thank you so much for the questions in the chat as we continue to work through this wonderful day.
Yeah.
Let's see. Talking about Chicago here,
right?
Grand Rapids here, not Chicago.
Oh, here we go.
So, what have you found any new builds that stood out to you?
Yes. Last year at Chicago was the first year I actually met Caleb. So it's FIREBIRD.
FIREBIRD.
Yep. Keep mixing that up. I'm sorry, Caleb. Don't watch this
Sorry,
back.
Caleb.
Anyway, it's the first year I actually met him, and kind of a testament to our developing friendship that I'm here now a couple months later staying over at his house for a weekend.
Yeah.
But that's, I guess, the way things have gone. But his Christosis mock was truly one of the best mocks I've seen in a while. And just to hear his thought process behind it and pick his brain, you guys might not understand, but it was his first large-scale mock. And
really? I don't even think I knew that.
To come out swinging like that is absolutely insane. And his YouTube videos are a testament to his skill that he's able to knock out a massive clone base that we have in the background displayed behind us. He knocked that out with a couple of friends in 7 days.
We will certainly get some closer looks at it on the channel, and then in the stream, most likely, we'll get some more stuff.
That was a great mock that I really enjoyed. A lot of the Empire Lug guys have become good friends, so it's hard to outline exactly which one of them. But pretty much all the guys at Empire Lug last year, Russell, Alex, Gavin, you guys all had great mocks, and even Hunter, who won, I think he got nominated or won Best Star Wars. I think he nominated for Best Star Wars for his Yavin mock.
Okay.
So absolutely amazing job there. So we kind of had a whole trifecta of really nice mocks, and we were all really happy with the collective layout that year. Yeah.
And transitioning to this event, what about anything here that has really stood out to you is kind of new? Of course, there's been some overlay with overlapping with sets here or mocks here versus mocks in Chicago, but anything new that stood out to you?
Yeah, there's some really good mosaics further down. And I think they're from the old Adventure line. I forget his name. But it's like the guy with
that dude right there.
Yeah, whatever that guy. There's like some. He's
the dude with like we'll call him
Johnny
the crocodile
Adventure or something. I don't know.
He's the Crocodile Dundee of the Lego Adventures. I'm sure you all know.
Someone has like a painting of something like that of that sort. It's really hanging out here at the Michigan Lug has really been interesting too. Seeing the different levels of skill and age here at this lug. We have a lot of first-time displayers here. We also have a lot of experienced builders here. So there's some really cool stuff here, just generally. There's a really nice micro-scale Venator.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up if you didn't.
And someone absolutely crushed it, guys. I would highly consider getting that. They made instructions. It's, I don't know, maybe like a foot long.
I'd call it more like a MIDI scale.
Yeah, yeah.
So on the scale of the Super Star Destroyer that just dropped for $70.
Yep. Very close. We were actually comparing stats while we were at Exeter trying to look if that was in fact what it was close to. So yeah, in that scale, and oh my goodness, that was absolutely knocked out of the ballpark.
Yeah.
Quick glance. There's a really nice Hogwarts here as well. They have a whole Quidditch court.
Is that one? So I know the Quidditch court was at Chicago. Was that Hogwarts at Chicago?
I want to feel like
I feel like it had to be, but I don't remember it.
I could imagine it would be. I think I did see a nice Hogwarts, so maybe it is the same one. I'm going to lean towards yes.
Okay.
But that's another highlight, just to see some of these epic mocks, get another close look at them, really be able to appreciate them in a less crowded environment.
Yeah, I was going to say, you have a little bit more room to enjoy each one.
Yeah, the aisle paths here are so much nicer because
double the size at least.
Oh, my goodness, dude.
Maybe even 3 times the size.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then last night we were looking at the Minecraft stat bar.
Yeah, oh my, yeah.
That one's amazing.
For reference, there's a guy here at part of Michigan Lug who has built the Minecraft kind of toolbar. So he has like his health. I gotta do my hands over here because out here, anyway, you got to do. He's got like hearts. He's got the hunger bar. He's got some inventory stuff, and it's really cool to see that because Minecraft and Lego mix so well.
Oh yeah.
Once you define your set pixel size to the bricks, if you're saying, okay, every Minecraft pixel is a brick, then it's just from there. It's just copying over the shape, and it
building it
works
out
perfectly. It was to the point I took a picture on my phone. Then later I looked at it and said, "What about a Minecraft screenshot? I haven't played this in a while. I'm due for a Minecraft session though."
Exactly, absolutely. I'm trying to think of some other stuff. We've got some more art mosaics over there. The lightsabers, which not new by any means, but still always wonderful. I'm a huge fan of the Lego lightsabers.
Yeah.
I know Lego has maybe toyed with it a little bit, only in promos with the Yoda and the Luke. And I have the Luke one, which I'm very proud to have.
I think that's a good investment piece right there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there we go.
And I know Built Bricks from Instagram has created many lightsabers. He's very notorious for that, with the blades as well. Yeah. And then he's a part of, is it
Brick Vault?
I think it's Bricker.
Oh, Bricker Builds.
Bricker Builds. That's I always mix up Built Bricks and Bricker Builds. So it's Bricker Builds.
Yeah, there's a lot of good custom lightsabers out there.
Absolutely. So there are some hilts, which I would imagine if that guy over there mocked him himself, he did a really great job. I have a feeling he probably used some instructions, but hey, either way, it's a wonderful build.
Yeah.
And then, did you see the chrome Star Wars ships over on that wall?
I have not, so maybe I need to actually go over there and
I
check
don't
this
know
out
if I saw those in Chicago, but so you've got the Padme's ship from Episode 1. Okay. The Naboo. Yeah. Whatever you call starship.
Yeah.
The Mando's N1.
Oh, okay.
All chromed out. Like it's. They must have chromed the pieces themselves, of course. Yeah. And then what else did they chrome? The Mando helmet.
Interesting.
The small Mando helmet.
I'll have to go check that out.
Yeah, they chromed out pretty much everything, every ship in Star Wars. Oh, they chromed out a traditional Naboo starfighter. Right. So it's got the yellow pieces with the chrome front.
Oh, I've seen those before. Yeah, those look
Looks
nice.
great.
Yeah.
So I didn't recognize those. I thought those were fantastic.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we have all the activities as we would expect.
There's been some really good activities here for sure. There's a lot of build challenges for first-time attendees. Just know that there's games you can play. You can sign up, I believe, on the website. And they're just like small little builds that are fun and enjoyable. Take you 30, 40 minutes. And you can kind of participate if you want to. And if you don't, too bad. And even if you do really well, you can win some prizes. So that's an added bonus. And you might need to go in there and actually win some prizes. You know?
Exactly. And even, I know we were talking about volunteering for them. Do you know if that's only for certain people, like if you're a displayer, or if that's for any adult?
I'm not sure. You'd have to ask them.
Yeah, I feel like maybe if you're already involved, like a display or something, you can get some gift cards for volunteering with the kids.
I'm sure they're down for any help.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
you can always help the vendors carry out their boatloads of cash because they're cleaning people out, folks. They are
huge wheelbarrows.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. This is quite the market out here.
To some extent, though, like you're paying for the experience. You're paying for the. It's right here, right now. You don't have to go anywhere.
Shipping, no tax.
You don't have to dig for stuff. So there's definitely. I don't know if we'll call them the more generous vendors.
Yes. Yeah.
And then the vendors that are aggressive with their prices. Yes. So it goes both ways, but there's so much out here. I think I saw what was the 2006 Imperial Star Destroyer?
Oh yeah. The one for 1400.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we had there was one where I think you were looking at it and I asked you how much it was and you said 1400.
Yeah.
It was something else.
I don't remember. Oh yeah, it was like a Ninjago skyscraper, right? Something like that.
I did see one of those for about a grand and a half or something.
The joke is still alive, folks, because I do still see it. So
you see it way over there?
Yeah, it's far left. It's up there.
Yeah,
it's still up there.
Unfortunately,
looks like the Star Destroyer might have moved actually. Who knows?
Oh wow!
Somebody's lucky day. Oh my goodness.
No, I didn't see.
Don't know who's lucky though, the buyer or the seller. We'll see.
I know we were talking about it, or maybe not with you, maybe with Caleb or someone else. The Bounty Hunter Pursuit, you know that set from 2002.
No.
So it's Kenobi and Anakin, Episode 2, chasing Zam Wessel in the speeder.
Oh yeah. Very very unique set. A lot of cool colors, and I think one of the few sand purple figures.
Ah,
I think there's only a couple. I think the Bounty Hunter is one of the few sand purple ones.
That's a good point.
I saw that on Instagram the other day. I was like, wow, that's very interesting. So maybe an investment figure right there.
And I haven't seen any of those as I've been walking around. I know those are kind of rare.
Is that one you're looking for?
I mean, so we could have a white whale conversation, but if I wanted to buy it, like I could buy it.
Right.
It's not like they're never selling. There's
Okay.
only one available and it's
No,
gone
that's
right
true.
away. But and it's just, and I would probably buy it used realistically
Okay.
anyways
Yeah.
because I do want to build it.
Yeah,
I want to
exactly.
display it.
Yeah.
But because it's one of those sets where in second grade, you know, one of the
Yeah.
kids in class brought it to recess and we were playing with it, and I was like, man, I really like this set. I want
really
it.
young right now. He's in 2002. That's the year I was born, and he's talking about being in second
grade.
So.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, I didn't see any of
That'd be
those.
a cool set to have. I think I've seen. I don't remember who had it. I saw a friend recently who had it, so that was cool.
Also, I have not seen any
Water.
Bionicle.
Oh,
Did you
Yeah.
see? Have you seen any Bionicle?
well, my host actually has some Bionicles on display, so that's been tragic to say the least.
Tragic. What are you
Yeah.
talking about?
I know it's probably I don't know. It's
That's
cool.
blasphemy. That's blasphemy.
No, I haven't seen much Bionicle. I don't feel like it's very popular almost anymore. I feel like it kind of peaked. Yeah.
Dude, you're crazy. What on
Yeah.
earth? Did you see? I know I showed you my picture or the
Yeah.
picture. Did you see
Yes.
the Bionicle?
Yeah, you have,
okay.
you're a big ambassador for the Bionicles
I
brand.
just wanted to make sure. I know some people out there are a little.
Generally, the bigger conventions do have some Bionicles on show. This one, honestly, I'm happy to report I haven't seen any. So
It's Brandon Builds needs to get out here. I don't know where he's from. If it's from like a further south state, I don't know where he's from. But you're probably not listening. But just in case you are, Brandon,
we'll send it to him.
you got to come here next year.
Absolutely.
We need more Bionicle representation, and your builds are probably some of the best Bionicle mock builds I've ever seen. Of course, he was the one. I don't know if you saw. He was at Chicago, and he won best. I think they called it
Mech
best
or something.
mech android or
Oh,
best
gotcha.
humanoid robot,
Very
something
nice.
or other.
Yeah, good for him.
So he has some amazing builds, which
Yeah.
like if Lego would just literally take his build and make it retail.
Right. There you go.
Sign me up. Sign me up. I'll spend. I would probably spend.
Reach out to him for instructions, maybe. That
He's
would
actually
work.
he holds those close to the chest.
Oh.
yeah,
that's
because
unfortunate.
I mean, I totally understand that.
Somebody
like,
leak those, please.
he pours his heart and soul into these sets, and he doesn't really want it to be a. Okay, I'm guessing. This is my speculation at this point. He's not looking for it to be a thing where
Yeah.
he wants to make money off of
Yeah,
it.
'cause you
Yada
can put
yada.
it on Rebrickable, even for free.
Yeah, so I
That'd be
think he
kinda
just
cool.
kind of wants to just. And you know, like he put
Right.
hard work into those. It's certainly his
Yeah.
right to
Yeah, no,
not share those,
100%.
and just like
Yeah,
you know any IP
No.
that you create, you
That's true.
you don't have to share.
that is very
But
true.
you know, it would be awesome if I'd probably pay $40 to $50 for one of his figures.
I've never seen these, but I assume that's a pretty big compliment.
They're just super detailed, and I know if Lego did bring Bionicle back, it would probably come with a hefty price tag.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, Lego knows about price tags, folks. They do. Oh my goodness.
Absolutely.
They figured out how to raise them. They haven't really figured out how to lower them yet. That's so they're work in progress.
Inflation is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
But all right, let's see if we got anyone else in the chat. Oh my goodness, Moments. Yes, CPA will need up to make a Bionicle booth next year. I would
Oh my goodness.
bring all my Bionicle.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it wouldn't hold a candle to Duck Bricks or anything, but I know for a fact Duck Bricks, I'm sure Brandon Builds, any Brent's Bricks, they would all certainly enjoy seeing the table full of
Oh my
Bionicle.
goodness.
Oh, it'd be amazing. I need to collect a few more to get to
Right.
that point, but I would certainly enjoy that.
That's hilarious.
So we shall see. Hey,
I feel
who
like
knows?
I feel like most themes are pretty generally represented here. Besides, I haven't seen much Bionicle. Again,
I haven't seen
but-
any. I don't even know. I don't even know if I've seen a mech. I mean, besides Caleb's, of course. But
I think I see a couple of like figurines, but there's a big difference between figurines and mechs.
yeah,
So
and even utilizing the contraction build or the
Okay.
CCBS, I haven't
Right.
seen that really either.
and people are running over the barriers. Yeah, we have like little metal. We have like metal pallets to keep people from touching the mocks. So you occasionally hear some of those fall because people run through them, or kids are dangling onto them while their parents drag them away. You know.
That's actually 100% true.
Yeah. Occasionally you see someone overestimate their hurdling ability and they absolutely knock this thing over.
Or they do come up pretty easily.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
if you're kind of grabbing and walking along and you just kind of lift up a little bit.
That's my tip. I usually just unclick them and scoot past. I'm not going to dive underneath and my back's going to give out.
100%. Well, I see it looks like Caleb might be sauntering on over here.
Do you want me
I
to
can't
go
tell.
see if he wants to come on? I'll go grab him for you.
Yeah, go ahead and see if he's making his way. If
All
you
right,
wanna,
thank you, everybody.
Here, alrighty. Part 1. We'll call that. No. That's part 2 of the stream. Wrapping up. It looks like I'm very surprised. The connection has been doing pretty well, which I'm very excited to see that. It's been great. So it looks like Caleb is going to come around. Not inside. I think he's going to stay on the outside. Just kidding. He's getting a drink of some of his fancy carbonated water. Too fancy for me. But we'll ask him some similar questions. Of course, he's about how he got into Bionicle, Bionicle. I mean, he is into Bionicle, but how he got into Lego mock building. Of course, we have his wonderful base behind us. We'll maybe get some closer looks at that. It's gonna be great. So if you have any questions in the comments for Firebird Bricks, please let me know as he hops over to the stream. Come on over. Up is live. Yeah, we have our little monitor down here.
Oh, sick.
So we can
Wow.
let's do a little bit of this. We're very, very casual.
There we go. It's a
All
better
right.
angle.
So everyone, of course, this is Caleb from Firebird Bricks.
What's up?
We're standing in front of his clone-based mock, as
Indeed.
I'm sure you all have seen that video. Where do you know offhand where that video is working its way at view-wise now?
I think it should cross 300K actually in like the next day or two, which is pretty surprising. I was hoping the video would do well, but it's exceeding my expectations a little bit, so I'm happy about that.
And how long? I forget how long has that one's been out there. A couple weeks now.
It's been about a month at this point. But yeah, it was fun. We got together and I had some friends stay over at my place, and we just worked on the build for a week straight. And we managed to actually complete it in time, thankfully, because we got to the end and we didn't have the terrain done, so we got our wives to step in and help us finish everything out, which I'm very grateful for, because we would have not completed it in time without them.
So with the 7 days, was that planning and designing all in that 7 days, or did you do some of that designing beforehand?
We did some of the general planning beforehand. We didn't prototype anything really. We did build a micro scale build to try and get it to a point where it could be something that we could work off of. But basically it was just ordering parts ahead of time, making sure I had enough things on hand, which I did run out of tiles after like the first 2 days, or even the first day. I think we started running out of tile because I underestimated that. But generally speaking, we did a plan, and nothing too specific. We wanted to leave it open for, whatever we felt like we wanted to build as we went along with it. And then, yeah, most of it was just building the entire time. So, yeah.
Which, I mean, obviously it very much worked out for you. And this, okay, like you said, this is all tiling. At first I thought maybe it was snot on and then like laying it on its side. Did you use that anywhere?
I don't think we used any snot building on the floors. We did it on the walls on the inside a little bit. It gets some different patterns and textures and stuff. But yeah, we were talking about doing more snot building, but it just ended up being more cost effective to tile everything. Okay. So yeah, because like with this much surface area and multiple floors, you're using a lot of tile.
Yep.
So yeah.
And then you got some figures in here, or a handful of clone figs. There are customs in here?
There's just a few customs in there. So there's a custom Captain Rex, Commander Cody, and then a few 501st Clone Troopers. But that's pretty much it. It's mostly legit figs. So,
which is always a great thing to have a mix of both. But you do have different robot and vehicle builds that are not Lego retails.
So
tell us about those.
We didn't use any official sets in the build. We used some BRICKWORLD vehicles. So we've got a snail tank, an armored assault tank, a Swamp Speeder and ATRTs, as well as an AV7 cannon from BRICKWORLD. We got M5 builds gunship in here, and then a couple of modified clone turbo tanks as well. So it's all custom stuff from various places, which I prefer to use custom because it's in scale with minifigures and things don't look off or weird or whatever. It's not always possible because sometimes you have things that are just way too large where it wouldn't make any sense, but yeah.
Yep. And of course, on the inside, and we'll show some B-roll throughout this because I'll snip this out and make a nice little edit. But we've got some fun little bits on the inside. Just off the top of your head, can you remember some of the rooms in there?
You got to have some Easter eggs. I mean, we started out at the bottom with making a gym for the workout clones, so we had to get them in the weight room and everything. I got some custom clones made by Mike and Ike. He decaled them, and so that was pretty fun to get them in there just as kind of an homage to the game. And then we also have a cafeteria. We got the blue milk vending machine, so that's a pretty fun thing that we've got going on in there. We got a bunk room. We got some clones watching TV. Just a lot of fun interior details. This is probably the most extensive interior detailing that I've done on a building before. I built Christophsis earlier this year, and it was pretty much just exterior, straight up builds, and so there wasn't a whole lot to do on the inside. But with this one, we really wanted to showcase a lot of story elements within the build. And so, yeah, we've got all kinds of like mini scenes going on within the different rooms.
Which is always a fun thing to do, and seeing that on stream, I think, or on the video is going to be awesome. With all these different rooms, and you've got a couple of light kits in there.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
all
overhead lights.
It's all Light My Brick stuff. So it's just individual components that I've bought. Lighting something like this is a real pain. I'm not going to lie, especially because you have to transport it. So it has to have things disconnecting at the right spots to be able to split it all up, which is not really all that fun to work out. It's kind of the thing that I don't really enjoy. But having lighting in a build like this makes it so you can actually see the full interior. And it just adds a lot to it, so I think it's worth it.
Awesome. And then straying a little from what we see here and talking about Chicago earlier this year, Jaakko was mentioning that was your first kind of large-scale mock build, which is pretty insane. Like, did you feel like you were biting off a little more than you could chew, or and I guess how long did it take you?
Yeah.
Just kind of the whole gamut with that.
Christophsis, for those of you who may not know, is from the Clone Wars. It's from the 2008 animated Clone Wars movie, and it's the battle that you see in the opening scene. And for that build, I decided to do like a traditional YouTube Lego Star Wars mock series for it. And so I started out in March, and I built for 3 months leading up to BRICKWORLD. And I knew that it was going to be a big project. It did kind of increase in scale a little bit as I started planning. I think it really hit me when I placed my Bricklink order, because I batch ordered most of the parts for that entire build all at once. And it was just like, once I placed those orders, I was like, I'm committed now. I mean, I can't go back on this. I've ordered a few grand of parts. So, I just had to go with it at that point.
Yeah.
And thankfully, it ended up working out. I did 5 mock updates. I did the finale and everything before actually making it to BRICKWORLD. I realized on my way, just as I was loading up to go to the convention, that my buildings were actually just barely at the height that they could fit in my vehicle, which I did not plan, and I'm very grateful I didn't have to split them up. I would say if you are going to build large buildings at any point, split them up, make it so that they're modular, because I did not do that, and I regretted it, because I'm having to pick up these buildings that are like 3 feet tall and try and move them around, which is a little cumbersome. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I would really recommend, like, if you build mocks to display at a convention, it's fun to see people's reactions to the builds. It's always good to be able to talk with people who are also passionate about it.
Exactly.
But yeah, it was a big project. I don't think I was really ever concerned that I wouldn't complete it on time, but definitely leading up to the convention, all I was doing was working, eating, sleeping, building, just trying to get it done. And I had family come through to help me with some of like the repetitive tasks and stuff, which was super nice of them, because I may not have completed it on time without them. But it's always fun. You get together with family or friends, and if it's stuff that's repeatable and you just build it over and over, you just kind of hang out and chat while we're all building. So it worked out pretty well. But yeah, it was fun. I would really recommend it to anybody, and I think it's a good time to bring builds to a convention.
And how did you? Because in my mind, and I've alluded to it several times on this stream, how uncreative I am. Like, how do you go from, obviously you're looking at source material,
Right.
referencing that time and time again, I can only imagine.
Yes.
Do you draw it up in a, like, do you literally draw it on paper of like what you're going to do, and then you kind of work it into a maybe, like you have here with your little build.
Right.
Do you do something like that for Christophsis?
Yeah, I mean, we did a micro scale build for this clone base here, which is the first time we've done a micro scale build to kind of like work it out before actually building. For Christophsis, literally all I did was draw out a grid of all the base plates, and then I marked out where my buildings were going to be, and that's all the planning I did for that one, apart from doing some prototyping. So I prototyped like one side of a building. I prototyped a little bit of the groundwork. And then once I got that sorted, I just ordered parts based off of that math. I got my math wrong, and I over-ordered on the ground tiles by 2x, which was, I don't even know how I messed that up. I think it was late at night, and I just screwed my numbers up. But yeah, for something like that, it's really prototype a few of the main elements. And because it's a city, it's very structured. It's very symmetrical and all that kind of stuff, so it makes it easy. Planning for something like this build behind us here, which has some terrain and a couple other things, it's a little bit more loose. You want to order stuff that's relatively in the ballpark of what you might need, but it's not always easy to figure it out exactly.
Awesome. And so a lot of planning obviously goes into it.
Right.
But kind of at the end of the day, it sounds like most of the work, it evolves as you're putting it together, and you're adjusting, you're being flexible with what needs to happen to make sure that this happens.
Yes. Yeah, you kind of figure it out as you go. I mean, like you can only plan so much until you actually start building. And I would say just start building, especially like if you're new to mock building. It took me a long time to even build my first mock. I was actually researching mock building for about a year before I started building anything. I was buying parts, I was collecting things, I was getting minifigures I might wanted to put into builds and stuff. And it was one of those things where, like, I do wish I had just started building earlier, because I would be better than I am now if I had started earlier. But yeah, I mean, it's easy to get in your head about it and think, what if I'm not good at mock building, or what if it's going to stink or whatever. But really, I think that people are much more creative than they give themselves credit for. And it's just about giving it a go, trying it out, and then adjusting as you go and learning. I mean, it's easy to learn from other people's building techniques. And you kind of borrow things from people and kind of figure out good ways to build certain things as you go.
Absolutely. And so we'll talk about a couple things.
Sure.
As if you have time,
Yeah,
we'll talk. We'll talk for as long as we can.
Minutes.
You're in Western Michigan.
Yes.
Lug group.
Uh-huh.
Tell us about how you got involved, how you kind of found that group, because you've been back into Lego since 21 or 22.
2020.
2020.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So a little newer. I imagine you had it as a played with Lego as a kid and all that stuff. But tell us a little bit about how you got back into Lego and then involved with this lug here.
Yeah. So I got back into Lego in 2020. My wife and some family members bought me a couple sets for my birthday. And it was just pretty much a deep dive straight from there, right down the rabbit hole. I started buying sets. I started realizing, sets retire and they're not always available and you can't get them whenever you want them. So then I was into buying some retired things, and then I learned about the mock building community and all of the really dope things that people build. I'm a big Star Wars fan, but I had not even seen Clone Wars by that point. So, I mean, that's what I'm a big fan of now. I'm a Clone Wars fan.
Oh, yeah, certainly.
But yeah, I started really getting into Clone Wars at the same time as getting back into Lego. So it's kind of like this perfect storm of converging interests. And at that point, I started getting into mock building a little bit, but also I heard about lugs. And for those of you who don't know, a lug is a Lego user group. And so they're basically groups of people who get together and build custom things, or they just hang out and talk about Lego or whatever. It depends on your level of interest, of course. But I got involved in my local lug here. I think it was maybe in the summer of last year, maybe just a little bit before that. And I just met some people locally who were into it and got involved with displaying. I displayed at a couple of smaller conventions toward the ends of last year. So yeah, mostly like local stuff I do with WM Lug, and then this year I got involved with Empire Lug, and that's who I displayed with at BRICKWORLD Chicago.
Okay, that's good to know.
And that's an online community of people who do mostly Star Wars stuff. I mean, given the name is Empire Lug, so mostly Star Wars builds, but they also do quite a lot of other things. At BRICKWORLD Chicago this year, Empire Lug had like, Avatar, the Blue People. They also had Avatar, the Last Airbender. There was a variety of different themes that were represented there.
So did they have that super huge Avatar build? Avatar mock, or was that someone else?
There was a collaborative build that was done for Empire Lug. I don't know if it was like a really big one. I think it was more like individual people doing their own mocks.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And so, of course, pretty much anyone can get involved with a lug. Most certainly.
And it depends on the lug. Some lugs are a little bit more exclusive where you have to apply. Our local West Michigan lug is very easy to get involved with. Everyone's very friendly and welcoming and happy to accommodate for anybody who needs it. And so, yeah, I just got involved by showing up, going to events, hanging out, going to meetings, chatting with people, and that's pretty much it. For Empire Lug, there's like an application process, so it's a little bit different and a bit of a standard of build that you have to be able to make and stuff. But, yeah, I would say, especially for local lugs, it's nice if they're open to people and willing to let them come in and learn, because there's a lot of learning that can happen between people, especially when you meet in person. You get to see people's builds. They explain techniques to you. I mean, it's really, really useful for learning.
Absolutely. And this Grand Rapids BRICKWORLD here, how is it reaching up to your expectations or exceeding them?
I mean, to be honest, I wasn't really sure what to expect with BRICKWORLD Grand Rapids, because this is the first show that they've done here in Grand Rapids. We actually, I feel like this is really the first time I'm even seeing the full LEGO community in full force here.
That's true, yeah.
We have a Bricks and Minifigs that just opened December of last year. We have one that opened an hour south of us last year. There's no LEGO store here, so it's really hard to gauge like how many fans of LEGO are there in the area even. So for something like this, it's cool to see all the people come out to see builds and, shop with the vendors or whatever else they're here for. But I feel like there's I don't know, maybe about as many people as I expected to be here, because I've been hearing people talk about it's going to be a decent amount. There's been a steady flow of people throughout the day. I've met a lot of people who watch my content, which is kind of mind-blowing to me. It's been really fun to chat with people.
Yeah, you can go into that kind of as much as you want. Which it's been fun to watch. I've been kind of standing off to the side, but go on.
I mean, I got into making content last year. I started doing it more seriously in October, posting frequently and really showcasing, especially this year, more mocks. And so it's really fun to see. Like, it happened at Chicago a little bit too, where people would be like, "Oh my gosh, I watched your mock building series," and I'm like, "No, that's crazy." I mean, when you see views on YouTube, you just see numbers, but it's really nice to meet people and they get to talk with you about the build or ask questions or whatever. I just think that's such a fun part of being in person at a convention, and it's been really enjoyable just to meet people and figure out kind of what they enjoy and hear feedback and all that kind of stuff. Has been really great.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, for me, I've said it a couple times. I think it's about, I think it's a little more than maybe I expected. And like we said, at 4 p.m. Eastern now, it's starting to die down a little bit.
There's still a good number of people
in here. There's still, I would say the vendors are probably the most packed right now out of everyone, which is always fascinating to see. And then a lot of, are those people coming in right now?
Yes, I would say that.
Wow, there's a pretty big crowd of people at the entrance right now, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So, and just kind of going back to your fan interactions, you've had a lot of younger kids kind of coming up, and especially that one kid.
Oh yeah.
Their family.
Yep, there was one kid who they said they came from Chicago because they heard that I was going to be here, which is that's insane. Like, I mean, it was super fun to meet them, and they kind of had to like force their son over to say hi to me because he was really shy. He's a young kid who watches my stuff, and it was very wholesome, I would say.
Yeah, 100%. And then of course this other kid who wasn't shy at all, and probably he might be up and coming soon and might take your spot.
Yeah, probably.
Asking you like, oh, how'd you do that?
How'd you do this? How'd you do that?
What'd you do
he wanted to know exactly how I built some things. Yep.
Which is awesome.
No, it's fun. It's really fun.
Can you give us any tease about what's coming in the future, a future mock, maybe BRICKWORLD next year? Do you have any ideas that you want to share?
BRICKWORLD next year is still up in the air as far as what I'm going to be bringing. I will be there. Chicago this year was awesome, and I will probably go every year for the foreseeable future, at least
Exactly.
as far as I know.
Yes.
So I don't know what I'm bringing yet next year for that. It's kind of determined by a few other projects that I have in the works that I can't talk about, unfortunately. But as far as like upcoming videos and stuff, I'm going to be working on a custom shelf display for my UCS AT-AT, which
awesome.
I just put out a army building video for my Imperial Army yesterday. If you haven't checked that out, you can head over to my channel and check it out. But do it after the stream, of course.
Yeah.
Don't leave now.
All three of you.
That's right. You got to stay here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I built the UCS AT-AT recently, so I'm going to be putting that in a video soon. Just making a custom display. And I had a video that did well about a month ago with the Lego Star Wars mechs. I did some customizations for those.
Yeah,
so
it did okay. I mean, it's a pretty good.
It did pretty good. But you know, kind of try and piggyback off the success of that a little bit and do another mech-related video, which should be fun. I've got a few fun ideas for that I think will do well.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's awesome. Speaking of doing well, we've talked about it a little bit with your YouTube rise, and you started the channel in 22.
Yeah, last year,
and you're at pushing 28,000.
Just passed it today.
Just
actually.
past it.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
that's exciting. So you're kind of just steady cruise on up, which is amazing to see.
Yeah, no, it's been going better than I expected, I'll say. Like, I mean, you never expect that people are really going to watch much of your stuff when you put it out there to begin with. But yeah, it's been really fun to see that people are enjoying some of the things that I'm making. And it's cool to see, too, like there's people who come and watch every video, and just kind of interacting with them in comments and everything is always fun. But I've been really enjoying it, making all the content and stuff. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun.
And it seems like over the past 5-8 videos, you've really started to find your groove, find your style, and just the way you want to communicate your content, which is obviously fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to up my production. So I got a new camera and some lights, and I actually transformed a room in our basement into like a filming area. And I'm just really trying to see if I can push the production level up of things to try and get some really high quality content out there. I know that people appreciate quality content.
Yes.
And I enjoy making quality content. So I'm not filming on my phone anymore. I'm doing all,
Hey,
DSLR
don't at
stuff.
me like that.
Hey, no. Hey, phones are a great tool.
Yeah.
The best camera you have is the one with you. I don't know who
I
said
love
that, but
That's
I
a great
definitely believe it. But yeah, I've really been trying to increase the production value and also try and make bigger videos that have more potential to do well. I've really been trying to workshop ideas and try and think through stuff that would appeal to a broad audience of people, stuff that generally anybody could watch, but also mostly sticking within Lego Star Wars because that's my passion.
Yep. And we've talked a little bit about, or I should say a lot of bit about kind of how much you love the analytics side of YouTube and just really digging in and showing me stuff that I had no idea, like the panel where you can choose which analytic you want, and you've got clicks at the end of the video and stuff like that. Like, kind of, was that from the beginning, or as you kind of were getting some traction, you really dug into those, or kind of how did that evolve?
I mean, I think it really comes from consuming a lot of content about YouTube. I watch a number of channels. Like, if you look at my homepage on YouTube, it's always Lego content and then content about YouTube. Specifically about content strategy or analytics or all those kinds of things. And it's something where, like, I have a background in digital marketing, and so I really enjoy data and understanding why people are interacting with things, how they're interacting, why they're not interacting maybe, and trying to apply that to my own content has helped me a lot, because at the end of the day, the data is objective. It's going to tell you how people are interacting with things. And so I think really looking at that and understanding why things are performing the way they are, and then taking that and trying to apply it and use it as a feedback system is a great way to just get better as a content creator. And I don't take it personally, like maybe a video doesn't do well or people don't like it or whatever. That's totally fine. Like, it just means that I'm not showing the audience what they want to see.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, really trying to dive in deep into that. And I'm learning more as I go. I do feel like I had a decent grasp on things when I started, but it's one thing to understand it. It's another thing to put it into practice.
Exactly.
And I'm trying to get a lot better at putting all of those things into practice and just getting a little bit better with each video.
And lest anyone say that it's too late to start a YouTube channel, it is certainly never too late.
No, it's not.
You being such an inspiration to me, of course.
Appreciate that.
And me even starting couple months ago in May, 4 months ago, like already breaking 1,000, you breaking 28,000 just yesterday or overnight. It's proof that if you're making quality content, and I'd say even in today's day and age where TikTok, that fast kind of pace, there's a core group of people, and I think it might be even growing at a steady rate of those people that want quality content is certainly out there.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm of the belief that when you put something out, it doesn't need to be perfect. Just make something and get it out.
Right.
But you're always getting better. That's the real key, is always
as long as
always
you're
improving.
continuing to improve, that's really the key.
Yep. And because I do know some people, Richie, I'm talking about you, Brick Fleet, they pursue, and rightfully so, they pursue perfection with every video. Everything they put out has to be perfect, and I wish I could be that, but fortunately I can't.
Yeah.
So
no, it's good to get stuff out. You always learn.
Exactly. And then a couple more things.
Sure.
We haven't talked about the Bricklink Designer Program, and is there any potential, or do you see any, or have any desire to kind of get into those Lego Ideas or Bricklink Designer Program type sets? Do you find yourself this translating to something like that?
I mean, I think the thing is with those programs that I really appreciate them. I think it takes a lot of talent to get into that and to do what those people are doing to make the models that kind of work within that format. For me, right now at this point, I'm mostly focused on building for content, which you can see, like, even with the builds I'm doing, sometimes I actually don't detail things as much as I'd like to for the sake of getting a video out in a timely manner or whatever. Like, I have to make some sacrifices there. I would like to build more detailed things a lot of the time, but it just doesn't really always make the most sense. And so that's one of those things where I could see myself maybe getting into it in the future, but at this point it's like I'm just working on making videos that people are going to be able to enjoy, and that involves making mocks that specifically cater towards that crowd.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that as Richie, you do pursue perfection, don't? He's in the chat.
Oh, yes, I see.
He
What's
said,
up, Richie?
I do not pursue perfect. Yes, you do, Richie. He he turned on his, and Richie, I'm only saying this because we're a very intimate crowd for now on the podcast.
That's
so
right.
I can say this. He turned on his memberships
and
was like, all right, I'm gonna try this, and then immediately turned it off because he's like, I'm not.
It's not what I want it to be. You know?
It's not what I want it to be. I don't feel like I'm providing them anything extra. But then I was kind of like, I think the memberships is more so for the people who care more than the average person, and just they're not wanting anything extra. As long as you're being transparent with what you're giving them, and not saying memberships
saying,
now,
I'm going to give you something and then you don't provide it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think as long as you're transparent with it.
Yeah, I think the thing with memberships is that it's a tricky thing because you can do it in a number of different ways. It's something I've thought about a lot too, is like, I want to offer something where I can really truly provide value to people. I'm still figuring out exactly what that will look like. But also I don't want to milk my audience for money because, I'm not about that.
Yeah.
But just trying to find a way to let people support you who want to support you, but also like, I really believe that if you can give back to people in some fashion, that's a great way of doing things. So trying to understand what people would even want from me. So, I'm still working on figuring that out. Hoping to have something ready by this fall. And
even locally, potentially, you're fairly heavily involved with the bricks and minifigs.
I am, yeah.
Here locally. So anyone in the Grand Rapids area, there may certainly be opportunities.
I'm there like twice
to
a week.
learn. So. Hey, if you just kind of hang out at Bricks and Minifigs 24/7, you probably will see him at some point.
Yep.
Or if you're watching this live in the area,
come through.
Probably not today. There's still 2 hours left, a little under 2 hours.
I'll be here all day tomorrow.
So yeah, come Sunday.
Oh no, wait, you're not gonna be here.
Unfortunately, no.
You're
I
out.
won't be here. So don't count on that.
I will be here.
But no, it's been great. It's been great to hear you be here. Finally meet you in person. See the crowd. It looks like it may have picked up a pinch.
Yeah, there's still quite a few people coming through.
No, it's still going strong. It looks like 4 p.m. wasn't our time to end it.
No,
so
we thought, but we were wrong.
So thank you so much for stopping by. It was great to see
man.
you here, and we'll probably might find someone else to hop on. I think Wolf of Bricks is still out front.
Okay.
I may have to drag him back here. We'll see. But yeah, no, thank you so much. Of course, obviously, for anyone watching live or on replay, go follow or subscribe to Firebird Bricks on YouTube. Makes super quality content. I kind of just shoot all the content at you. I try to hit that bar where it's not like total garbage, but this guy, he puts out the quality fire content.
Thank you.
Actually, where did Firebird Bricks come from? I meant to ask you the other day.
That's a good question, actually. So it was one of those things where I was trying to think of a brand where I could not necessarily be only tied to Star Wars. I love Star Wars, but I also like building other things, and I may branch out a little bit in the future. But it's one of those things where I wanted a solid brand with a mascot of some sort, because I think that that's something where you can really get interesting with your design if you're doing merch at any point in the future, or it's also a recognizable, you know, I tried to make I worked actually with my design prof from college on the logo.
Awesome. Which
Which was super helpful because I cannot draw characters to save my life. But I wanted something that would be recognizable and different. I still have bricks in my name, which is, you know, that's the way in the Lego space, typically.
for some of us.
Yes, yeah, you know, yours is a little bit different. You just straight up use Lego in the name. But yeah, so it was one of those things. I just wanted a good mascot. I think the Phoenix is a really cool bird.
100%. Yeah.
You know, the whole Phoenix rising from the ashes thing
Yep.
is cool. It shows progress and all that kind of stuff. So I just enjoyed it as like a character that could be part of the brand.
Yeah. And I love the orange. Orange is like
Thanks.
top 3 colors for me, so
Hey.
fantastic.
Orange and blue. That's what I'm trying to go for with all the brand colors.
Yeah,
and
no,
stuff.
that works for sure.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks, man.
Probably all we'll get from you for this stream, because I know your fans are, well, not now.
Zero right now.
Literally,
but,
there
know.
were like 10 people there. But no, thank you so much for stopping by, and
Thanks, man.
I'll
Appreciate
continue
it.
the stream. But thank you so much for
Thanks for
hanging
having
out
me.
for a bit. Absolutely. I was going for the mic. I wasn't going for
I'm
the
taking this
handshake.
and putting it here.
Oh man, what a wild time. Richie and Moments in the chat. Oh, real quick question. Moments of the Magic wants to know, is 36 troopers big enough for a snow trooper army?
Yeah, I mean, depending on what you're going to be building, I would say yes. If you want to fill the UCS AT-AT, you need 40 of them.
There you go. It's enough. 2 is enough for an army. Army of 2, right? So that was Caleb from Firebird Bricks. What a great time. You know, I'm gonna get out of the way a little here. Just pull this a little closer. Whew. All right, so I think what we're gonna do here. Shout out, 100% Richie. Shout out to Firebird for letting me camp at his booth. Absolutely, I could not be more grateful for that. And it looks like the lug group is over here sorting pieces. I'm not sure why, but it looks like a fun time. Not fun for me, fun for someone else. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I am gonna go on a little walk, and I'm gonna leave the camera up. We'll give a nice view of the crowd. We'll keep Firebird's build in here. I am going to go try and find Wolf of Bricks and see if we can get him in this stream. He is a wonderful YouTube channel. I aspire to be somewhat of an investing Lego YouTube channel, but I do not hold a candle to him. So I would love to get him out here, get some thoughts, see if he's seeing anything special in the Lego investing space, and just have a little chat with him. Of course, he's been, I feel like he has been on the ACOB podcast before, a couple of Brickheads, which I have frequented a couple times of late, which has been very enjoyable. So we kind of have that mutual connection, and he's kind of out front. I have been with or talked to him twice today. First when I came in, then when I came back from lunch. So it has been wonderful to kind of just have a quick little conversation with him. So I will go try and grab him real quick. But first, I'll cycle back on some of the messages. Let's see. Richie says, Polynesian Lego CPA face reveal. Unfortunately, no. Unfortunately, no. There was a Bionicle booth at BRICKWORLD 22 in 2018 from the Mask of Power team. Team behind the Mask of Power, video game that being Team Kanohi. I probably saw them. I don't know why I didn't go up and talk to them myself. I really should have, and I honestly regret that. Most certainly. Richie, you crack me up. Richie and Moments, they're starting an uprising against me. I guess that's how it works sometimes, you know. I guess that's how it works. And yes, lastly, like you said, shout out to Firebird for letting me stay in his booth. So, okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go see him. He's technically staff here, so that might prove a little issue getting him over here, but I will try. I will try my best to get Wolf of Bricks over here, and that might wrap it up. How many? We're almost pushing 2 hours, which is fantastic. It's just it's been a great time here today. Like I said, didn't know if this stream was going to work at all even. I'm so glad that it has been working, and we will see if we can continue the show with Wolf of Bricks. I will be back in a moment's time. I also need some water. My throat, I feel like it's about to close up. So I will be back momentarily, and we'll see if we can get a final cameo, a final co-host on this podcast, on this episode 9 of the CPA-fol podcast. Don't go anywhere. Enjoy the ambiance of BRICKWORLD Grand Rapids, and I will be right back. So I think I'm live right now. So.
We're actually
We were in a little bit of an intermission.
Oh, gotcha.
So we'll center it a little bit. There, how's that? We're back from our little break. We've got Wolf of Bricks here. As I mentioned a little earlier, I was talking about you kind of behind your back, only saying good things, of course.
Right, sure.
Saying about how you're kind of like you're the real investment guru out there. I'm kind of like the theoretical investment guy, but you're kind of doing it real time. So
well,
we'll talk.
Somewhere,
exactly.
Right? I mean, there was a time where I only had 50 sets, and now I have somewhere between 7,000 and 10,000 sets right now. So it is what it is. You have to start somewhere. You have to start small. But yeah, business is interesting. We're optimistic about the holiday season. There are some people that are more optimistic about me, more optimistic than I am for this Q4. I think it'll be a repeat of last year. And last year was just enough to not be angry at the sales, right?
Yep.
And I'm expecting it to be the same way.
Interesting. So that's definitely good to know. Definitely good to keep in mind. And on my channel, I call it the weekly investment update, where I go through sets over. It could be over the past 50 years, just sets that have been doing well on an annual growth basis.
Yeah.
So, are there any sets kind of over the past year that have exponentially been doing much better than you would have expected? Just one or two. We don't have to out everything, but I'm just curious to see what you're seeing.
I definitely don't want to be vague. I want to give you real concrete answers, but I would say, honestly, a lot of sets that are exclusives, right?
Absolutely.
And I'm talking about the Lego shop at home, because anybody could be a reseller because there's a low entry point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody could, with $30, right?
Yeah.
But do people really have the fortitude to continue to go to the Lego store time after time after time? So I would say anything that's specific, Lego shop at home and Lego.com exclusive, are going to be clear winners. And now, which ones are those? There's too many to name. I would say any of the Star Wars, any of the Sonic.
Interesting.
Things of that sort,
Yeah. And even in doing a little bit of my research over the past couple months, finding the gem that is the Bricklink Designer Program has been really kind of life-changing. And just the fact that, like it's an inherent exclusive, because there's only ever going to be a max of 10,000 at any given point. So, I mean, and I know some of them have a higher price point to entry, and they've got the limits on the household, stuff like that.
Right.
So I hope in the near future, as we have one coming out February, or a set of 5 in February 24, and then another set of 5 in June 2024 for those crowdfunding periods to open up. I'm really looking forward, hopefully able to get a couple of those. I'm sure those are on your radar.
They are. So the Bricklink Designer Program, it's good. There's really no bad, but you also have to have the right perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're wanting to grow your inventory at 100 units at a time, is the Bricklink program something that interests you? Now, for many people there are, and that's great.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're doing such high volume, you need to say to yourself, will I really have the time to purchase and just let them sit? And they do have a quick turnover rate. It's not like you need to let them retire, because once they're gone, they're gone, right? But yeah, so those are always clear winners. Well, the majority of them are clear winners. And a good thing about that is those are sets that you don't have to hold for a year, 18 months to 2 years. 6 months is kind of the sweet spot.
Interesting. That's good to know.
Yeah.
And then you're not really in the minifig game at all. You just kind of are exclusively in sets, or what's your outlook on that?
Well, this is the year I'm trying to go into the minifig, and I'm gonna be honest. Right now, I have the Marvel Series 2 packs, the minifigs. I have the 6 packs.
Yep.
And I'm just going to be honest. I'm going for that Walt Disney minifig. I want to have an army of Walt Disney minifigs. I want to have Walt Disney mechs to put in the Walt Disney minifigs. Yeah, I'm wanting to go hard on Walt Disney.
That's awesome. And yeah, I mean, that's probably a fig that's not going to happen again.
Right.
So, and I imagine all the pieces of that are exclusive. Certainly the face is exclusive, but do you know in that much detail what's exclusive versus torso and and
you know,
legs?
that's a great question. If I had to guess, I would say the torso is exclusive. The legs, if there's no printing up, they're probably not, right? But that's a great question for me to do my own due diligence on, right?
Hey, sometimes you can teach the older guys a couple tricks. Yeah, exactly. And then you mentioned a little bit of Q4. Let's kind of switch gears and talk about BRICKWORLD Grand Rapids here.
Yeah.
Expectations versus reality, what you're seeing as far as content and audience, traffic, just kind of give me your thoughts on that.
So BRICKWORLD Grand Rapids is great. Obviously, this is a BRICKWORLD satellite event, right? So nothing could compare to Chicago. I almost prefer this to Chicago in the sense that BRICKWORLD Chicago, whenever it started on Saturday, like it was shoulder to shoulder. I'm not somebody that could be around so many people. I was like, I'm going to go up to my hotel room for a minute and just chill out. But here, I mean, talking about Sweet Spot, I would say it's really cool. And there's some cool things that I didn't see in BRICKWORLD Chicago that are here, like the art over there.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. So, yeah, and there's a lot of, and I could be wrong, but I see a lot more.
This is new?
Yeah, that's new. There's a lot of vignettes down there that I didn't see at BRICKWORLD Chicago. There's some other things over there. So, yeah, I mean, it's great. And the cool thing is, you know, no one really wants to drive 6 hours to a city like Chicago to display their sets, right? So if they're local, you know, that's what makes the event unique.
Yep, absolutely. And numerically, you throw out 3,000 or 3,000 so far would be your guesstimate, very rough estimate so
great.
far.
I would say between 3,000 and 3,500. Yeah,
awesome.
And that's on my list before I leave. I just want to take a pic.
To see the actuals, numbers.
See the actuals of it.
No, that'll be exciting. So anything for you and your channel, Wolf of Bricks, anything kind of new on the horizon that you'd like to share, or just kind of steaming away?
I appreciate that. If you're not familiar with my channel, Wolf of Bricks, go ahead and like and subscribe. I will be unveiling a new tool. There's a lot of things coming out, and it will be free to the public. It's not public yet, but I'm looking at it every day. There's a lot of cool stuff going on. You're not just going to have price alerts on sets that are discounted. You're also going to have alerts from Lego Shop at Home the moment they put out a new reveal, a new
awesome.
Starship of whatever. You'll get that alert on your phone. So
awesome. No, that'll certainly be helpful.
Yeah.
And then in your personal Lego collecting, where do you focus most of your time and energy for personal collecting?
So my passion is Batman, right? And they had a $400 UCS Batmobile down there that I saw a gentleman walk away with when he was hitting the exit. So that was a tough pill to swallow. I'm going to see if they have another. But yeah, Batman. I don't want to say Batman anything, but the majority of Batman stuff I absolutely love. Going back to collecting minifigs. I think the price right now, if you wanted to collect all the Batman minifigs, you're talking about $800. So that's kind of a big commitment for minifigs. I'm not sure if that's something that I'm going to dive into just yet.
I imagine you already have one of these boys.
I do. Speaking of, now that's not a box of boys. That's a box of boy.
A bag of boy.
a bag of boy.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh, they don't know all about that.
Yeah, that was because if you go on BrickLink, there's some gentleman, I think, in Spain that has like 3,000 of those, right? And I'm like, all right, what's going on here? Maybe I could make a deal. So that, and actually the Walt Disney, I'm so happy you mentioned that because I absolutely, and I'm a Tim Burton Batman Lego fan. So I just love. I have most of the sets. I think there's the Shadowbox Batcave I don't have. I think that might be the only one. So
interesting. And as we're kind of going through this, more of a conversation than an interview, I would say.
Yeah.
How has COVID, in a good way, affected the Lego community in a good way? Because I think a lot of people really got back into the Lego community or into it. I know Caleb from FIREBIRD Bricks, I think that kind of partially drove him back to the Lego community.
Right.
For me, it pushed me to YouTube and watching tons of Lego videos on YouTube. But then as even people like myself entering on the smaller scale Lego investing, have you felt any impact of that on your larger scale operation for Lego investing?
Oh yeah, I mean 2020 we killed it. That was the best year. I mean I'm not trying to brag. I just want people to have a yardstick so they can measure. But in 2020 I did over $250,000 on Lego sets. And here's the deal. You know, if you don't mind me saying this, at times resellers may have a bad rap, but in all honesty, we look at ourselves, at least I do, as a servant of the community. I'm not going to buy a $30 set and then mark it up to $1,000 because there's just not going to be a market for it, right? I want to have a low enough price to where there's somebody that's willing to do a commerce exchange.
So it sounds like it's been more beneficial than not, because from my perspective, there's been a lot of new people getting into the reselling. And I would think maybe from your perspective it would maybe adversely affect, but have you not really felt those effects just yet? Okay.
Don't worry, my friend. We've definitely felt it, but I definitely think we're over the hump now.
Okay.
And
interesting.
You know, I was one of those people that said, you know what, I'm not going to buy anybody's Lego inventory because I almost feel like there's a conflict of interest where I'm not recommending sets because I don't give financial advice, but I talk about sets that I like. But there are a lot of people that are wanting to sell and their whole inventory, and I don't know if it's because they just don't have the stamina to wait, or they just thought, you know, because of the low entry level, hey, you know, I'll buy 50 of these $30 sets, and you know, and their spouse could, you know, get on their back, and that happens. That happens. My wife says that she thought about starting a reselling spouse supporter group.
Nice.
Right.
And if you want to share this, is this your full-time? Is investing Lego your full-time job, or is that kind of a side hobby?
I guess you could call it a side thing. I mean, I don't want to say I'm retired because I'm still young, but I have my military retirement coming in, so that affords me to spend more time.
Awesome.
Not just when it comes to reselling, but content creating and continuing to build the brand. So
awesome. No, seeing it, especially at BRICKWORLD Chicago, seeing the range of Lego fans it's so refreshing, because sometimes you think, oh, it's just the kid. A lot of people think it's just the kids that like Lego, and then on YouTube it's just the 20-year-olds that like Lego, and then you go to places like this, like literally everyone likes Lego. It kind of it's one of those toys that's just transcended all age ranges, which is amazing.
Well, I'm very happy to see people come in that are 18 plus without children, but I'm even happier, and not to you know, profile people, but there are a lot of people that are 50 plus and they're couples and they're coming in. I'm thinking to myself, that's awesome.
Exactly.
It really is.
Yep. Well, I don't want to take too much of your time. I know you're having a very important job out front, directing people in, making sure they're going to the right spot. So thank you so much for taking the time. It's been wonderful to get to talk to you, and I'm sure I will see you at BRICKWORLD Chicago.
Absolutely.
And I'll see you on the YouTube as well.
Yep.
So thank you so much. Absolutely. I'll grab this. And you can just go right. Woo! It has been a fun time. Let me tell you. How long have I been going for? You know, we're gonna make it to 2 hours. Unfortunately, I didn't get to do the trivia giveaway. Very unfortunately, I'm sad for that. But I hope you all were able to get a very good view of BRICKWORLD Grand Rapids. I'll do a little spin here. There's still some people here. There's still... Man, those vendors are packed. I'm kind of surprised how packed the vendors are. I'm sure they're very grateful for this venue and this event, as am I. It's been a great time to connect with people in the community, to... Squidman, there ain't no way I'm going for 10 hours. No can do. And actually, the internet for the past hour and a half has been super stable, which has been awesome, as I wasn't quite sure how that was going to go. But thank you so much, everyone, for watching. For those of you who have watched the stream, I think the replay of this is going to be fun. I'll be able to cut this into certain videos and get a little bit more out of this stream than just this stream, as I know chopping through a 2-hour video or stream, it's not for everyone, so I totally get that. But thank you so much to everyone who's watched. You got to let me know when we get to 2 hours, because I think we have to go for 5 more minutes. Let me know if anyone in the comments has questions, because I would love to hear if you have any questions about BRICKWORLD Grand Rapids, what's here, what's new, maybe some sets or some mocks that are new, if there's any new influencers or such. I'll do my best. Any new LEGO user groups, I would love to hear any questions you all have. It's been a great time. It's been fun. Like I said, I won't be here tomorrow. A lot of the group that I am with currently, they will be here tomorrow. So if you're in the area, certainly please come in to BRICKWORLD Grand Rapids on Sunday. Squidman says, have you bought anything for your collection? I have not purchased anything for my LEGO collection here. Very unfortunately, as we've alluded to, the prices are a little steep. Probably a little too steep for me. So I have not picked up anything. I did kind of walk through the vendor pricing, and it is very steep. So, but hey, it's here. Like we said, tax-free, shipping free. Walk it out the door. It is yours. So from that perspective, you're getting that premium service for that product, of course. Over the next couple minutes, seconds, let me know if you have any other questions. Squidman, I did not see any La La Land mosaics at this convention. So, was there a huge one at Chicago? I don't remember, actually, but you will have to remind me if that was the case. But no, I did not see one in there as well. Yes, okay, I thought there was, and I figured that's why you would ask that, kind of expecting that. So, this has been certainly has been a fun time. Oh, okay. Brick by Brick made it. Was it smaller then? It wasn't a huge one. It must have been a small one. I didn't know that he was a displayer either. I actually didn't know that. Well, as it looks like we're just about to crest over the 2-hour mark, this has been a blast here at the CPA-fol podcast. My throat is gone. So I will see you all next week at the CPA-fol podcast, where I will be back in my cozy basement. Actually, no. I won't be back because not on Saturday, at least. So a week from today, I will be married, actually, at this point, a week from today. The wedding will have already happened a week from today. So the CPA-fol podcast, we will have to find a certain time to reschedule, maybe Sunday night. We'll see how it goes. I'll figure out something else. I promise you. Don't want to leave any of you hanging, as I'm sure you all will be waiting with bated breath for me there. But I'm excited to maybe do a little bit of a decompression from BRICKWORLD, and we should have Brickotomy back on the schedule, which will be fun to connect with him. But I'm very much looking forward to that, and I hope you all enjoyed this stream at BRICKWORLD Grand Rapids. It's just a foretaste of what we're going to see at BRICKWORLD Chicago, which I think I may be able to pull something like this off at BRICKWORLD Chicago. I know I'll be collabing with a couple of brickheads, as they are literally going to go all out for that, most certainly, and I'm very excited to see and witness and experience and participate in that myself as well. Yes, moments. I think you're referring to, yes, I am getting married a week from today, and it's hard to believe it's already here. I had this last little trip today and yesterday to BRICKWORLD. Yeah, it's crazy. It really has flown up, and I feel like I have mentioned it in content before, but there you go. The cat's out of the bag. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I don't have much else left to say, so I will see you all next week on the CPA-fol podcast. And, of course, there will certainly be videos coming out this week. The weekly investment update will be back in full force, dropping on Friday. Leave a comment on the most recent video if you want me to go through any specific set, and I look forward to seeing you all there. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a blast here at BRICKWORLD Grand Rapids 2023, the first ever event. Thank you so much.